Hello guys, today I want to tell you about the solutions to Nairobi's water shortages. Nairobi is a sprawling urban free for all. The city's fringes contain a mix of ramshackle slums and meticulously manicured manor homes, while downtown Marabou stocks will over new high-rises as hawkers and minibuses dueled for customers on the streets below. Nairobi's frenetic vitality draws people from across Kenya in search of economic opportunity, but at 4 million people and counting, the city is growing so fast that it's coming apart at the seams. The problem is especially evident in the city's water supply system. 40% of the city's water is lost to leaks and outright theft. Many Nairobians must buy their water from water tankers known bowsers, handcrafts filled with 5-gallon water jugs pushed by roving paddlers. Water purchased on the private market can run 10 times the price of government supplied water. 40% of the city's water is lost to leaks and outright theft. The headquarters of the Nairobi City Water and Sewage CO lies along a fantastical rutted road in the city's industrial section. In his office, engineer Philip Gitsinji lays out the stark reality. Even if the utility were to completely eliminate the problems of stolen and lost water, it would still only be able to meet about 2/3 of the city's demand. There is a huge deficit, he says, more than 66 million gallons a day. And as the population goes up, per capita supply will go down. We are only able to supply new development by shutting down others, he says. It's the new normal. Water management techniques on Kenya farms. Now, in an effort to get a handle on Nairobi's water problems, the utility is looking beyond the city's boundaries. Nairobi's water supply comes from the Tana River watershed to the north of the city. The landscape there is a mix of sprawling nature reserves and tidy packed family farms, about 300,000 of them, averaging only 2/3 of an acre. Nairobi Water is partnering with the Nature Conservancy and several local companies on a wide-reaching project that will link urban citizens with farmers in the rural headwaters region. If it works, the program known as Upper Tana Nairobi Water Fund will improve the reliability of Nairobi's water by ensuring that farmers upstream in the Upper Tana River basin take less water out of the river during dry times. It will also improve the quality of Nairobi's water supply by keeping topsoil on farm fields. One of those farmers is Azarwandia, who cultivates a small plot of steep hillside some 30 miles north of Nairobi. Here, amid an undulating landscape of deer, eucalyptus, and leafy banana trees, Nairobi's intense energy feels a world away. Yet, Vandia is connected with the city. Just downstream for her farm is Nairobi River from which Nairobi water feeds in supply system. With help from the water fund, Vandia planted a thicket of bamboo alongside a stream that runs along the bottom of her farm. The thick stalks now tower overhead and provide a cell-trapping buffer between Vandia's farm and the stream. You see, the water is clean, she says. The bamboo buffer is just one of several techniques that farmers are beginning to use to better manage water on their own farms. At the top of her farm, Vandia has installed a 30,000 gallon water pan to harvest rainwater. The plastic light retention pond provides a reliable water source which Vandia sparingly meters out through the dry season to irrigate tea and avocado trees. It also means that she no longer has to pump water directly out of the stream that runs along the bottom edge of her farm. And that is good for Nairobi. The Upper Tana Nairobi Water Fund is only 4 years old, and its success is not guaranteed. Yet small steps can have a huge impact, not only for individual farmers like Wanda and their families, but across the entire watershed. In such a short time, the program has already reached 25,000 farmers, and it plans to reach twice that many by 2022. Its success depends on improving the lives of farmers. Back in Nairobi, Fred Kihara, who helped launch the project for TNC, knows firsthand what the precariness of the city's water supply feels like. I'm one of the lucky people with about 3 days of water per week, he says. When the water comes, he says, he has to stockpile it in a tank and jerry cans to have enough to make it through the rest of the week. The scale of the problem became apparent around 2012. Nairobi realized that it had a 30% shortfall between demand and supply, Kihara says. They could not meet 30% of demand every day of the year. But TNC suggested that rather than building dams, treatment plants and other infrastructure downstream, Nairobi Water and others might embrace a newer approach, financing nature-based improvements near the Aberdare Mountains, the source of Nairobi water supply. Most of the time you hear a bigger dam is what is needed, says Anthony Kariuki, who now oversees the water fund for TNC. But in an era where climate change is disrupting rainfall in this region, he says, what if there is no water flowing? The bigger dam will only be a quarter full. This area's new normal is a shift in rain patterns, where annual rainfall is up slightly but arrives over fewer rain days. This intensity exacerbates a few problems. Rainfall washes soil down the rivers, forcing the city to use more expensive water treatment techniques, and sediment that settles in reservoirs reduces both storage and power generation capacity. To finance this new kind of water supply improvement program, TNC proposed establishing a water fund, a financing mechanism it has been developing for more than a decade. The idea is simple. Urban water users essentially tax themselves to fund water conservation and quality improvement efforts higher up in their watershed. In 2000, TNC launched its first water fund in Quito, Ecuador. In the years since, TNC has helped establish more than 35 water funds worldwide. The Nature Conservancy began evaluating the potential for launching a water fund in Nairobi, says Kihara. In 2015, we did a business case study that said, we need to take this to scale. We need to protect the whole region. The results were promising. There's a 2-to-1 benefit. For every dollar you invest, we get more than $2 of benefit out of it, Kihara says. If you invest $10 million, then you are going to get $21 million in benefits, primarily by reducing water treatment costs, increasing hydropower production, and improving harvests. In 2015, TNC and its partners formally established the Upper Tana River Water Fund, the first water fund in Africa. About $18 million in funding was secured from country governments, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, Kenya's Ministry of Environment, an international partnership called the Global Environmental Facility, and a long list of business partners, including the East Africa Breweries, the vegetable processor Frijoken, the Caterpillar Foundation, UPC, and the Coca-Cola Foundation. For many businesses, water scarcity becomes a limiting factor in their operations. According to Doris Candy, who oversees sustainability operation for Nairobi Bottles, the local Coca-Cola bottler, the soda is 90% water. Water is critical for us, she says. Until we have enough hands doing something up there, our challenge downstream continues to get even bigger. And when there's scarcity, then we all suffer. Perched on a eucalyptus-dotted slope above Tika Reservoir, James and Esther Caricus' 2.5-acre farm is a veritable cornucopia. It is planted with pumpkin, arrowroot, corn, amaranths, kale, spring onions, bananas, avocados, and macadamia nuts. And they keep a cow for milk. Just downhill sits a thick carpet of tea trees, the source of most of the couple's income. A county extension officer named Carl Nguru has come to check on the Caricus farm. As Nguru speaks with them, she pitches in to help pick deer. Nestled within the tea trees are several small avocado saplings, provided with the help of the water fund. As the saplings grow, they will provide important forest cover and also sequester carbon dioxide, as well as give farmers a new high-value export crop. But Nguru casts a critical eye at one of the young avocado trees before she finally makes pronouncement. They need some boost. The soil here is acidic, so this suggests adding lime and manure to balance the pH. Within days, the water fund will broadcast a text message in Swahili to 18,000 farmers, alerting them to the problem, suggesting a remedy, and providing contact information in case they need help. This text message network has helped overcome some of the challenges of working with thousands of small farms scattered over Kenya's hill country. The Water Fund uses text messages to survey farmers about their practices and needs, and to send technical advice and broadcast announcements about market events where a new crop types will be distributed. This kind of support is just a part of package of techniques that Anthony Kariuki, Kihara, Ngura, and the Water Fund team are working to persuade local farmers to try, in order to take pressure off the rivers that Nairobi citizens depend on. At the heart of the package are the water ponds, hand-dug retention ponds that hold anywhere from 6,000 to 26,000 gallons of rainwater. The water ponds help farmers stretch their available supply of water across the 3 month gap between the short rains that end in December and the long rains that start in March. That in turn relieves their need to tap streams and rivers to make it through the dry spell. Farmers provide the labor to excavate the water pans, a process that can take 3 to 4 days in exchange. The Water Fund covers 70% of the cost of the heavy-duty plastic liners that prevent leakage. The fund also helps farmers reshape the steep, runoff-prone slopes on their farms into terraces, which better retain soil. That prevents streams and rivers from being choked with sediment while retaining topsoil, which helps boost crop yields. In addition, farmers can slow water runoff and prevent soil erosion by planting strips of neighbor grass, which can also be used as animal fodder. Farmers are encouraged to plant their crops at least 20 feet from streams and rivers, which reduces the amount of sediment that runs off into waterways. These improvements have helped open up new possibilities for farmers in the upper Tana River basin. Conservancy staff set a goal to have 50,000 farmers engaging with the Water Fund by 2022, and they are already halfway to that mark. Many of these improved farming techniques sell themselves because they also increase reliability, yields, and profits. Mercy Wangechi, better known to her neighbors as Mama Christine, is a local success story. Several years ago, a neighbor helped her construct a water pan on her farm, and it has proven to be a kind of economic springboard for her family. Mama Christine has been particularly adept at using the water pan to irrigate crops in the dry season, like tomatoes, peppers, and melons, when prices can be more than double what they would be at other times of the year. In 2015, she and her husband bought a station wagon so they could deliver crops directly to the local market, rather than relying on middlemen. They traded for a better car and then in 2018 bought a minivan that she and her husband hired out as a chauffeured car service. The same year, they opened a mini mart in Nairobi. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Best wishes to you, and bye bye.